Avey Tare Down There.
Hello everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and this is the YouTube channel where we talk about rock, pop, electronic, and experimental music of the independent persuasion for great justice. The needle drop. Woo woo. And yeah, it's time to do an album review. Avey Tare's Down There. Avey Tare is 1/4 of the experimental, electronic, psychedelic pop outfit AnCo Collective. And this thing has been one of the most highly anticipated albums of this year, mostly because people just want to hear how an Avey solo effort will match up to that of a new album from his partner in crime, Panda Bear. And maybe you're glad to hear this, I don't know, but if you're an AnCo Collective fan, nothing on this album is really going to be much of a surprise. Though it's not accessible and poppy like Meriwether Post Pavilion or sporadic and electrifying like Strawberry Jam, Avey still dives into a lot of the same sounds he's developed with AnCo Collective. Watery vocal effects, a lot of lyrics that are sung in rounds to the point where they're just overlapping one another, lots of trippy loops, lots of found sound, field recordings, ambient interludes, really odd vocal melodies, bouncy synthesizers. And the sounds here are pretty fantastic. They're clearly Down There's greatest asset. This thing is not a kaleidoscopic treasure trove of mind-bending color. Overall, this thing kind of keeps it simple with how much it layers upon itself. Doesn't get too busy, doesn't really become a set. I guess what I'm trying to say is that there are a lot of head-scratching moments on Down There, even though, in comparison to AnCo Collective's more recent releases, this thing is much simpler. In fact, I would say many of these tracks kind of start off in the same way an AnCo Collective song would. I'm getting a lot of Deja Vu with the water sounds, with some of the rhythms, just the atmosphere surrounding this music. But that's just the start of these songs. Where these songs actually end up going is another story, and that's kind of where my major gripe about this album comes into play. Where these songs go, not really much of anywhere. Just imagine a guy walking out into the middle of a field, but as soon as he gets into the middle, he doesn't exactly go anywhere, but just simply starts spinning around in the middle. Which I'm not really happy to say, but after multiple listens to this album, I still feel like I'm anticipating this big build up to something going somewhere. But maybe going somewhere isn't the point. Maybe staying somewhere is the point. Because Down There certainly does create kind of an ambiance, kind of a place, some surroundings, an interesting mental picture. In my head, what kind of comes up is a very hazy cave setting, lots of water, stalactites, weird. But I still can't help but feel gypped by some of the tracks on this LP, like one of the songs, 3 Umbrellas. Starts off really cool, but just kind of stops before it actually has a chance to grow into something awesome. Still, this thing has its moments, and its lyrics are actually very personal. One of my favorite moments on here is Heather in the hospital, where the songwriting actually is really great. I love the lyrics as well, and the song actually lacks that build that all the other ones do, but it has this really insane transition into the closing track of the album, Lucky One, and that to me was just like a genius moment, just such a flash in the pan. I went wide-eyed with awesomeness. I, for one, would have loved an album of that, just one song overlapping into the next, just evolving into the next song. It would have made this thing feel a lot more like this one big holistic idea, as opposed to either just a bunch of unfinished concepts or just short motifs. Long story short, this thing just really underwhelmed me severely. It kind of felt like AnCo Collective, but with less psychedelic sound, less songwriting strength, less effects. But that's just kind of my stigma with solo projects. If you're gonna go rogue, if you're gonna go do your own thing and separate from the rest of the pack, then do it artistically. Do something different. Don't give us Deja Vu. I'm kind of in a spot where I'm really a light 5 on this album. I didn't hate it, and I would say I didn't merely for how fun some of the effects are on this thing. But let me know what you guys think of this LP. What did you like about it? What did you hate about it? What was your favorite track? I'm just wondering whether or not it's going to have an appeal outside of AnCo Collective's fan base. As you guys know by now, everything I just said was just my opinion. Avey Tare, Down There, forever.